Minister of Enterprise, Dr. Alex Allinson, joins us. Again, it's our first chat. It's on a Thursday. Things are moving all the time, and I always start now by saying how you're finding it,
Yep.
You know, new position and all that. So over to you.
I mean, it's a fantastic department to be in because it's so broad in terms of its remit, but also it really links in with industry, with businesses right across the country. And so we've got some fantastic staff, but also links into some beautiful people out there who are doing really great jobs in terms of hospitality, retail, business manufacturing, everything. So it's a fascinating job to be part of.
Okay, well, your department's been in the spotlight, surprise, surprise. I mean, we could do TT in a minute and MGP. Should we start, though, with this business, with the money that went to people who had properties and that sort of thing?
Yep.
We're talking about the ex-chief minister and all that sort of thing.
So
you've made an apology or some
Yep.
degree. Can you take us through what's gone on here?
Yeah, well, over the last 2 years, obviously, when the pandemic hit, particularly the hospitality industry was decimated. People were told to stay indoors, and that really affected the tourist offering. We knew we'd get through this. We knew when we did, we would need those people to bounce back, and so huge amounts of money were put in to supporting the local economy. Pubs, restaurants, but also accommodation right the way across in terms of hotels, but also self-catering accommodation. People were asked to apply if they'd had a real knock in terms of their income. Those were processed, double-checked, and grants were given out in various tranches. And what's come out is a freedom of information request that came in last June.
So before you were involved?
It came in last June to the Department for Enterprise, specifically about Howard Quayle, who is a successful businessman. He's got some holiday accommodation in terms of a family business, and we was asking how much money he got from the government as part of this scheme, all completely above board. And at the time, the department said that they weren't going to divulge individual amounts because we don't normally divulge any of the grants that we give to businesses. And the Information Commissioner has come back saying, in the public interest, we need to. Okay, and so we've done it.
Would you have handled that differently then? Would you have blocked it as far as it went? Because it was being blocked, basically.
The Information Commissioner was a little bit upset that what he sees as a blanket ban on divulging personal information that's given in confidence. Now, in terms of the Department for Enterprise, we have lots of different grant schemes to all sorts of different businesses, and we don't normally publicise that because we don't necessarily want one pub to know that another pub's got a grant. In this case, we did apply a blanket ban to saying we wouldn't give that information. We perhaps should have qualified that a lot better. And what's come out of the appeal, the Information Commissioner has upheld the applicant, saying, no, you need to give this information, so we will do. Okay. Absolutely. Well, but also we will look into the way we handle freedom of information requests going into the future, and we will do it in a much better way and a much more open way.
Well, the genie's out of the bottle, so the money was given, and of course the next question, of course, is keeping it. What's the state of play? Did he want the money? I mean, what can you tell us?
So this is somebody involved in the tourism business who applied for a grant that was on offer right across the tourism business. That application was checked, was found to be valid, and so he's received a sum of money, both in the previous financial year and in this financial year. Those sums have been made public. We will be doing a more detailed response to the Information Commissioner with all the other bits of information he wants. But this is completely above board, and actually the last financial year's payments to him, as to any other member of Tynwald, were published in the audited accounts.
And he's not here to answer. To be fair to him, he left the room, he says, when it was discussed.
Absolutely.
So that was done.
But unfortunately, this does raise another issue, which is when people apply for grants to government, how we deal with those confidentiality issues. We deal with lots of different companies, lots of different individuals, and we need to have their trust. And what I don't want is this to put off people coming forward for some of these grants in the future. This judgment was particularly around about COVID and the pandemic, when we needed to get money out to businesses really quite quickly, where we needed to support them and we needed to listen to them, and we've continued to do that, which is why we announced new schemes just before Christmas, when some of the small local economy businesses, pubs, restaurants, were really feeling the pinch because of the Omicron variant.
How's your card doing? This card,
the Love Isle of Man card.
Love Isle of Man card.
Thank you for raising the Love Isle of Man card.
Not seen it or heard about it much.
Just as we're coming up towards Valentine's Day,
is it still going?
It is. I mean,
has it been a success? I mean, what was the uptake like?
I shall tell you.
Okay.
So the Love Isle of Man card was something that was thought up during the height of the pandemic to try to make sure that we got spend in the local economy. It was devised because some of the big corporate names on the Isle of Man normally give out an Amazon card, and actually came to government saying, we want to keep the money on Ireland, how can we do that? So it was devised there to give a valid alternative. 1,300 cards have been put out. That's around about £40,000 in total.
And people buy those cards, don't they? They put money on the cards?
They put money on the cards, and then they...
Do you know how much has been spent on that?
So far of that £40,000, around about £8,000 has been redeemed already.
Okay.
It went live at the beginning of January. Right. Now, what we're doing now, and unfortunately, at that time, people's confidence in going out was hit. What we're going to be doing is relaunching that, and into February, we're going to be having various cashback deals. So if you go out during the week, you go to a pub or a restaurant, actually you'll get some money back on your bill, onto your card, so you can spend again.
Okay.
So what we're trying to do is incentivise people to going out during the quiet period, such as February and March, but also during a quiet time of the week, and actually have that confidence to go and spend locally. Let's
arrange an interview, because we didn't touch it the first time around. I think we should, and the media can probably help on this, get this more out there. But we better deal with the MGP, sorry. Particularly, there's been obviously situations going on, and what is going on? How can making it shorter make it better when you've got people who rely so much? I'm talking about hoteliers and just all the ancillaries. They're going to have a less go at this thing now. And yet you're spinning it as it's a good idea, or it has been sort of suggested it's a good idea.
It's a pragmatic response. So TT schedules there going ahead, and I'm committed to making sure that road racing comes back to the Isle of Man after what will be almost 3 years without it.
No electric again, but anyway, that's another story.
Well, no, I mean, again, it's a pragmatic response. So we need to get those schedules back. We need to get the riders back. We need to get the fans back.
Are you worried they're not going to come then?
No, I'm not actually. I think this is an ideal opportunity, given all the anxiety and instability across Europe, for people in the United Kingdom and in the island of Ireland to say, where do I really want to go on my holiday that's stable, secure? The Isle of Man.
You can't even agree a new scoreboard. I mean, really?
Well, no, we have got plans for the scoreboard.
I know, but you've had time for that now.
It's just agreeing the money to pay for it and making sure that money is well spent.
So you've got to sign off
good value.
Plan. You actually have a plan.
Absolutely.
Will we see this plan? I mean, is it public yet? I mean,
well, actually, I've sent the plans back to the drawing board to get a better scheme that will deliver what people want.
So it's not going to be this year.
Will
it be next year?
It will be next year. Absolutely.
And this year we're
going to have a temporary screen this year. The old, and again, I won't go through the past history, but coming back to the Manx Grand Prix and the shortening of the event. Again, the motor racing on the Isle of Man has continually evolved, continually changed. So we went through the festival of motorcycling.
The big rebranding. Goodness knows when that
and the
was.
classic TT.
Yes.
Now, if you cast your mind back to 2018, 2019, in that second week, almost every morning on the radio there'd be appeals for marshals to come forward, otherwise we wouldn't hope to be able to get...
TT sometimes.
we wouldn't be able to get the races going. With a 2-year gap, we have to take that seriously and say, right, we have to hit the ground running, so to speak. This year, 2022, we have to build for 2023. How can we do that in a realistic way? Is it sustainable to have that sort of length of the festival? And so went out for a root and branch consultation right across the various sectors, particularly particularly looking at the marshals, particularly looking at the medical support, and saying how can we bring motorcycling back to the Isle of Man in a sustainable way. So this is the solution that's been agreed by all those concerned, but it is change, and I completely understand that some people feel threatened by that. What I am here to say is I'm absolutely committed to the Manx Grand Prix, absolutely committed to the TT, to bring those events back this year and then build year on year as we go forward together.